Standard Chartered Bank apparently is closing SME accounts that are not up to standard. If you if you have a business account and you are not doing 10 million a month, then your account is getting closed. One of the people whose account was closed apparently has been with the bank for 15 years before they just decided to close it last month. So this is exactly what I want you to understand. Anytime you go to a bank to open an account, any money that you put in there, first of all, the account is not yours. The account belongs to the bank. You just have a number that is there that represents your relationship with them. The worst part is the agreement that you sign with any particular bank to open an account is always skewed in the favor of the bank. In fact, for most of that particular agreement, the bank has an upper hand. They can do whatever it is that they want with your account. I'm not saying that they do that every time, but you should know they have the power to do that. Secondly, any money that you put in your account can be, at the authority of the bank, not be accessible to you for whatever reasons that they may say. It may be some government regulation, or it may be even a bank policy that they say, you know, for this amount, you don't have access to it. Thirdly, when you go to a bank to start that banking relationship, my qualm is usually this. The times that you don't have money, it's very easy to just be like, oh, you know what, inactive account and things like that. But when you start having actual money, that's a time that you will see, you'll get a bit more calls from your bank. But secondly, you have less access to the amount of money that you may want. I know that there are so many KYC, know your customer, and AML, anti-money laundering rules that are there. But the problem is this: an account is supposed to facilitate trade. An account is supposed to help you to be able to move your money from your debtors to your suppliers and things like that. But so many banks hide behind KYC and AML to inconvenience customers who are actually their money earners. Because every single time that you put money in a bank account, a bank makes money. For what? For operating that account, you'll probably have a monthly charge. For withdrawing money from that account, you'll probably have a monthly charge. If you're receiving money from outside the country, there is a charge for that as well. There are so many charges on every single transaction that you have, and yet you go through things like this. The bank can decide that your money is too small, so we are closing your account. That's a reality check. We just got another loan from World Bank and were given $100 million. That's about 15 billion Kenya shillings. And this is what that money is for. It's supposed to be given to business or individual who is in business, so SMEs, micro institutions and individuals, so that you can be able to build up your business after COVID-19. Here are my thoughts. First of all, the way the Kenyan government is planning to do it is that it will be attached to Hustler Fund. Remember, when the current government was going in, they said they would set aside 50 billion Kenya shillings to be able to help people who are in business through the Hustler Fund program. Now, it's not the government setting this aside. They have borrowed money so that they can give to us through this program. This $100 million, which is 15 billion Kenya shillings, has been given to us so that people can get from the Hustler Fund between 7,000 and 150,000 if you are an individual, and from 150,000 to 250,000 if you have a business name or company that you are running. Now the question from me to you is this: how will we be able to pay it back, knowing clearly that even the current Hustler Fund has huge defaults by anyone who is borrowing? And secondly, how sure are we that this $100 million or 15 billion is actually going to come and do exactly what it's going to do? But number three, by the time we are returning this money to the World Bank, which we probably will not be doing, and will get a restructure out of it, which will be done at a higher interest rate, and then by the time we are paying it back, it will be at a higher interest rate, and on and on and on. How much money will we be required to pay back to the World Bank? Now that's something to think about. Apparently, we are sending 1,000 police officers to the country of Haiti. Here are my thoughts. Our current police force, admittedly, is not the best in the world. And that's just putting it mildly and politically correctly. They're going to a French-speaking country to battle with gangs that are rampant in that particular country. First of all, 1,000 from here going there is not the best use of our time and resources. Secondly, the US is the one actually paying for these police officers to go from Kenya all the way to the US. My question is this: how come the US itself does not send its better trained officers who have better intelligence, who are used to such kind of issues, to actually go and deal with it there? Thirdly, how come our president is allowing us to be used by the US to actually do this? Now that's something to think about. Kerry is investigating people who are importing vehicles and trying to evade the tax during importation. Here are my thoughts. Once the Finance Bill 2023-2024 came out, one of the things that was included there was an increase in the duties that are payable whenever you import a vehicle. So the first thing that was going to happen first is every single person who's trying to import a vehicle, it was going to be more expensive. Now, while Kerry is doing this, the aim behind it is that they will raise more money, because if you've been in this country for quite a while, then you understand that KRA's targets for collection of tax have been increasing over the years, and until early this year, KRA was not meeting its targets. And so what they have to do is look for a sector in the economy where they can increase the taxes, and that's the same thing that's happened with fuel, with VAT that is they're planning to take to 18% and all these things. So now, instead of collecting more tax, the effect of raising tax is that people who are unable to afford will always look for ways of evading paying of that tax. So they will end up collecting less. Secondly, if you lower taxes, that actually incentivizes people to be compliant, because anyway, it's a lower tax. So 119 vehicles are under this particular probe that KRA is doing. And it's going to be interesting to actually see what the outcome will be. If these new taxes will actually result in an increased tax revenue for KRA, or they're actually going to go down. Now that's something for you to think about.